All right, if you are curious about moving to Hawaii Kai, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know in this video, including the places to shop, where we're going to go for drinks and things to do with the family, all the beaches to check out, and why this neighborhood is really, really popular with buyers in this area. Let's go. If this is your first time watching this channel, my name is Marina and I'm a real estate agent here locally on Oahu, and my job is really to help you connect you from a Google search into a reality of moving to Hawaii, whether your job's moving you here, whether your family's here, you're ready to come back, or this is just the forever dream. You're ready to retire and you're ready to relocate to Hawaii or even have a second home. There's a lot of options, and Hawaii Kai is very popularly Googled. Should I live here? What is there to do? What's the cost of living like? How's the affordability on things? Like, we're gonna go through all of that. And so most importantly, realizing where we are. So Hawaii Kai on the map, if I show you a map of Oahu, we're on the southeastern side of the island. So it's only 12 miles from Honolulu Metro, where everything is, but I will say Hawaii Kai as a community has everything you need within a really convenient distance and time, so you don't have to go to town all the time. However, if you're still working and this is a commute that you're doing, I mean 20 to 30 minutes max is kind of what we're looking at. And that's where you really get this desirability to live a little bit away from town, have the larger yard, get the bigger home, the single family lifestyle, but have the accessibility to town when you want it. So really, there's everything you need to know is gonna be in this video. And so let's kind of break down a couple of items that I feel like are really important when you're comparing neighborhoods. So speaking of community, everyone always says Hawaii Kai is a very close-knit community, and that's for a good reason. So to start it off, we have, I think there's 5 schools total, and then a couple of private schools intermixed here and there. You're gonna see a lot of churches as you come through the main highway that goes through the stretch. But really, it's a mix of single family homes, a little bit of townhomes, and then a handful of high-rise towers that are going to be tucked more in the back of the valleys. But primarily, we're going to see a lot of single family homes. And even just today, it's a Tuesday midday, we've got people walking their dogs, they're saying hi to the neighbors, we've got landscapers out and about, and you can just tell that everyone kind of keeps eyes on each other. And I also get the sense that there's a lot of people who have lived here for a long time, meaning they've grown up here or they bought 20, 30 years ago, and they've really just made this place their home. So when there's newcomers, the natural thing is get to know your neighbor, and we all help each other out. There's also a really cool thing they do every winter with the Festival of Lights. And because Hawaii Kai has such a unique landscape, there's a lot of waterways that kind of go interspersed throughout it. They actually do a boat festival for their Christmas parade, which is really popular. Again, the community comes out in droves. We've got small businesses represented, our city council, you name it, police officers, and it's just a great way to get involved every single holiday. One last thing to mention on community is a dog park. And so you actually find we don't have very many dog parks in Hawaii, and Hawaii Kai is known for their dog park, super fur baby friendly, and just really walkable, but also let your dogs have friends too. Number 2, let's talk about recreation, right? So what do you do when you're here? Well, besides the obvious, the beach is behind me, it's actually not a very popular swimming beach. And the reason is it's so shallow. There's actually a barrier reef kind of out here. And so it is more popular for some of our water sports like jet skiing. We've got parasailing happening behind us, and definitely some like more cruisy type boats, not necessarily like a deep fish boat is gonna be out here. But if you just want a recreational tour around, maybe sail, have fun with the skis and stuff, this is the place to do it. And actually, there isn't very many places on Oahu that you can jet ski legally, like just for safety precautions. It's not a popular sport, but it's a place to do it here. So you can rent them or you can own them yourself. We'll see them in the driveways. People have skis. It's just a cool thing to do. Next thing is gonna be hiking. We have to talk about the obvious, which is social media crazy about it, the Coco Head Trail, which is a treacherous hike going straight up the crater of these railroad ties that you're literally like stair-stepping these giant steps all the way up the side of the hill. We'll show you video and photos of that for this video, but there are people who do this in like under 11 minutes every single day. I don't know how. They have like lungs of a champion, but it's very, very popular. And I challenge you to try it if you've never done it, but it's, again, super popular. And then actually in the back of each of these little valleys within Hawaii Kai, there's hiking trails in those too. So you'll notice kind of on the landscape, we have mountains, but the mountains aren't scary high. It's not like the Waianae Mountain Range or the Ko'olaus where they're big cliffs. It's actually pretty attainable, and it's really fun to hike those ridges on this side. And then last thing for hiking is the Makapu'u Trail. Technically, that lighthouse trail is considered a Waimanalo zip code, but for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna say it's also Hawaii Kai. It's just an extra 5 minutes from Sandy's Beach if you continue all the way down. But that one's really awesome, especially for families that have strollers. If you wanna push something, it's paved the entire way up. You're gonna get to see a little bit of different landscape. There's some cactus up there. It's really dry. And then if you go all the way to the top, incredible whale watching. And And even just driving along the coast today, we saw a number of whales that are so amazing. You're just like, oh my gosh, let me pull over right now. That's the style we're going for. But just again, incredible hiking, so close, within 10 minutes of everywhere in Hawaii Kai. Number 3, let's talk shopping and dining, right? So we're living here, let's talk the realities. Where are we gonna get our groceries? Well, number 1, and probably the most beneficial, is that you actually have a Costco in the Hawaii Kai city. So I should say, Hawaii Kai is a neighborhood in Honolulu. Your zip code is Honolulu, but we're talking city on this side. We actually have it right here behind the Hawaii Shopping Center, and it's really convenient. And I'm actually told by a lot of my friends they have the best accessibility and probably inventory than the other ones do. So if you're going to the Iwalei one or the Kapolei one, I mean, it's slammed. Like, parking lot crazy, things sell out so fast, especially when there's new products. Whereas the Hawaii Kai Costco is pretty local. Like, you're not getting people from Waimanalo and Kailua coming over here. You're not really getting people out of town and Kahala coming this side. They're probably gonna go to the Iwalei one. So it's really just gonna be your friends and family and neighbors who are going to this one, which means less stress, better bang for your buck, you name it. We've also got the Foodland, which is a Hawaii staple. That's where you're gonna get your poke and all your goods. And then we have a Safeway here as well. All very attainable and within 5 minutes. Super good. And then as far as dining goes, you've got 2 centers. So you have the Hawaii Kai Town Center, and we're gonna show you clips of that too, but it's got everything you need: shopping, clothes, retail, Starbucks, you name it. All the good restaurants are there. And then the other one's your Coco Marina Center that also has dining and your water activities. So 2 good options that are kind of like your strip mall layout. You're gonna have some of your franchises there. But again, you don't have to go to town for all the things. Just simply drive 5 minutes and get exactly what you need. 4 on the list is gonna be transportation. So exactly how are you getting here? Most people are not gonna be taking public transport, even though there is the bus system that comes out this far. Most of us are gonna be commuters. Like I said, it's about a 20-minute drive to town. So you just pick your time. But I will say there is traffic, just like other neighborhoods of the island. So time it wisely. We've got a little bit of a contraflow situation to kind of help with that traffic flow, whether going into town and coming out in the afternoon. Typically starts about that after school time when that crunch will happen. But again, you're so close that it's not gonna go more than 45 minutes to an hour. Like 30 to 40 on like crunch time, and you'll be just fine. Last thing on my list, and probably the most important, is how much does it cost to live here? And that's gonna be our index of what do homes cost? What does rent cost in this area? It's not cheap. And so I will say, while there's a ton of interest about people moving over here, the reality is how much do we actually feel comfortable with paying? So, fun fact, the median single family home price in this area is gonna be $1.487 million. Okay, so that's like in between. That's not the highest, it's not the lowest, it's the middle number, it's not our average, but the entire MLS, like the whole island, is a 1.1. So it's quite a step above what the rest of the island is paying. But again, you're getting all of this convenience, plus a beautiful backdrop, and that's why you're paying a pretty penny for it. The Portlock area, which is exactly where we are actually, this whole hillside is actually called the Portlock area, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it's because most of these homes are gonna have ocean views, or you're a block away from beach access, whereas some of it's like tucked back in the valleys and you're not really getting those views. Right here, it's prime real estate. You're gonna have some of the most incredible homes, a lot of pools in this area. You're not gonna find a lot of pools elsewhere on the island, and just really like that luxury feel of living. So I think up here, I did help a Google executive one time buying a second home, $4 million. I would say at the high price point, we're talking 8 to 10 million, but more often than not, the single family home in Portlock's gonna be between 2.5 up to $4 million. So something to keep in mind when we're shopping, just determine, is that in my budget or is it not? It's definitely probably not gonna be our first time home buyer, but maybe our second or third or second home purchase. If we're looking for a condo and we're like, Marina, I can't afford a single family, I want a condo. There's some condo options, although they're limited. And the price point for those, the median is gonna be $751,000 for a condo on this side, and the median MLS is $570. So it's a good 200 grand more than what you're gonna pay on other parts of the island. But I also have to note the HOA fees here are not the cheapest. So that is something absolutely we have to factor in. Yes, you have your mortgage on your condo, but if your HOA is an additional $1,000 or even $1,500 extra a month, you're gonna wanna tack that in, okay? Another thing I don't have in my notes, but I just wanna bring it up. Like I said, there is these waterways that kind of go throughout the neighborhood. And so some of these homes have boat docks on the back, but that means you're also paying a dock fee and some extra HOA and association fees for those water access ways. But it means you could pull your boat literally to your backyard. It's gonna be prime, okay? So last thing I wanna mention is, let's say we're on the tour, we're like ready to buy a home, we're checking it out, and you wanna get a feel for it. You wanna sleep over here and really decide, do I like this neighborhood? I wanna walk it every morning and test it out. There's actually no hotels in this area. The closest hotel is gonna be the Kahala Resort, which is back that way towards town. It's also a premium resort, so it's not gonna be cheap. But again, we're not going for cheap here. We're going for lifestyle, we're going for quality of life. And so you're not gonna be able to do any Airbnbs in this area. There are no short-term rentals. Just an asterisk here, we'll add it in the notes. If you are looking to do a short-term rental, you have to do it in a resort zone. So that's places like Waikiki, Turtle Bay, Makaha, Ko'olina. Any of those other areas have to be 30-day or more rentals. And that's just regulation. Don't stretch it. If you see things that are not within those 30-day terms or within those other areas that I listed out, it's either been grandfathered in, or there's places like in Lanikai where they're just willing to accept the fines that they're getting, slap it on their wrist because they're making so much money that they don't care. But just be a savvy consumer. Please do your research before you do some stays here. So that pretty much wraps up Hawaii Kai. I think the big takeaway for me is honestly like how you feel when you're here. It's slower paced, it's very relaxed, everyone's kind of going out their business. People seem very happy on this side of the island, I'll have to say. Whereas you go Metro Honolulu, it's city life, right? It's rush and bush, like people are doing traffic, can't park anywhere. Whereas here, there's ample street parking everywhere you go. You can go sit down at a restaurant, it's chill, there's water in the background. We've got water on both sides of us in some places, and just really connection to nature, I think is a big takeaway of this side, but it's incredible. So I definitely encourage you to check it out, see if it's gonna fit in one of your dream neighborhoods, and then we crunch those numbers. Does this make sense for you and your family? Does this fit the lifestyle that we're wanting in Hawaii and on Oahu? And if not, that's okay. But if you are considering it, I definitely think it's worth some time and effort to look into it because it's a beautiful place to live and many people never leave once they get here. So I'll be back next week with another video on Friday. Let me know in the comments below what you want to know about this area or what other areas you want me to do, and we'll see you next week. Bye.